This is a spoiler warning for episode 5 of AHSOKA. This is your last chance to turn away before we start talking about spoilers. Welcome back to the Coruscant Knights podcast. We're very happy to have you here. My name is Cooper. To my left is Mark.
Hello there.
And to my right is Jack.
Hello.
And guys, we've just come out of watching AHSOKA episode 5. We got together today to watch it. We've not really spoken about it since. We've come straight into the podcast to talk about it. So I think the best way to get going is to just get straight into it. Who's going to start? Who wants to start?
You should, Cooper.
You want me to start? Didn't I start last week? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Right.
Go again.
Okay. This was my favourite episode of the series, not because it was just like a cameo fest, but because I thought it nailed the vibe that I got from the first 2 episodes. I really did like getting to see Anakin again, like properly, and the different formations through the like flashback scenes. But, and I know you're gonna rag on it, I didn't dislike the scenes with Hera and Jason and Chopper and Carson. I thought it was necessary. You couldn't really go this episode like not addressing that sort of stuff. I think it probably did go on a bit too long, but I thought it did feel very Rebels-esque, that scene. And even I loved the way Jason was involved. Finally, he had some importance to the story, not just kind of hanging around, lurking around. So that was really good to see. And yeah, overall, I thought it was a really solid episode. My favourite, I will give it the highest score on our Instagram review. But still not perfect. Definitely room for movement. And there's some scenes I want to discuss in depth in a little bit. But that's pretty much the general gist for me.
Yeah, so I think the main issue I had with it wasn't anything to do with Anakin and the World Between Worlds. I think it was more how slow and how much it kind of slowed the pacing of the episode when it kept cutting back to Hera and I guess the New Republic crew because of how much it stopped and started kind of choppy. Even Chopper. But even though like Cooper said, it's necessary. It's just, I think, with Ahsoka, especially in this show, they like to drag out scenes that I don't think need as much screen time kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that's my major gripe with it, when I thought last week's episode 4 had just a one fluent story kind of from start to finish, and the episode alone I think was stronger. But I think some elements in this episode just was unrivaled. I think that's where I'm kind of at with it. So I'm a bit annoyed because I'll get into it later. I did want to see, obviously the Thrawn and the new galaxy, because we've kind of stayed on Cetos for like the past like 3-4 episodes.
We have, yeah.
So I just want to get to that kind of next step, and I think that's the TV show format that is probably not doing it for me as much, because it has this kind of delayed kind of structure, and I think that's where I'm kind of at right now.
Yeah, I think you've pretty much hit everything I was going to say. I would say by far probably the best episode. I mean, as I said last week, I think the action and lightsaber fights are what really elevated for me personally, at least. Especially, obviously, with Anakin and the prequel style fighting.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, the stuff with the New Republic and Hera did kind of drag on a bit. And I get that they want to leave us on a cliffhanger. But I think that they really should have had maybe even a 10-second clip of just seeing Thrawn. I think that would have honestly made the episode like 100 times better. Not that there's anything wrong with the episode, but I think it just would have been better than the cliffhanger, because we had basically the same thing last week. It's pretty much ended on the same cliffhanger.
It did, just with the different crew.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like if they showed us even like a soundbite of like Thrawn's theme, or like even that kind of piano.
If we heard a sentence from Thrawn,
just something,
just a line
that like leaves the audience.
Or if we just saw him.
Yeah.
Anything to do with Thrawn, even if it was like 5-10 seconds. I think it would have made it a 10 out of 10 episode.
Would have been perfect. Like that one that we've already seen in the trailer. So it's like,
exactly.
Waiting for this reveal. Yeah. They're waiting for this reveal, but we've already seen 2 clips of him from the trailer.
Exactly.
So it's like, what is happening?
So we're all waiting for him to see it, and we're now more than halfway through the show and we still haven't.
So. Well, we are definitely more than halfway through the show. We're 3 left, and we haven't introduced our main antagonist yet. So that's probably where the season's kind of struggling for a lot of us. But to be fair,
Baylan and Shin have carried
that
element.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, if you've introduced Thrawn so late to the game, I feel like there's no choice now. They've got to do a season 2. Because you can't flesh out a villain in 3. You can, well, not flesh out, but you can't make a villain
intimidating in this show.
Well,
Because
in
we've
this
already
show,
seen-
yes.
we've
I
already
would
seen-
argue if the next 3 episodes has as long a run time as today,
and only focused on
not only, but if they majoritarily focused on Thrawn and the villains, then I'd say then they would still be okay.
yeah.
Because today's episode felt like a long time compared to, like, for example, last week.
I think one of the reasons for that too, the way this episode kind of ended with Hera saying "May the Force be with you," the music, how it was kind of like a goodbye. I'm not sure if we're gonna cut back to this galaxy. Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure. At least until the
you know
end.
what I mean?
No, I can just imagine episode 6 starting
Yeah.
With Hera.
It starts with
Senator
Hera.
Syndulla, you are General Syndulla, you are under arrest.
You're
Yeah.
facing the military court,
Honestly,
and Jack would just Jack would faint.
yeah.
if that
Look,
happened.
if you guys want to see our reaction actually
Yeah.
to the episode, we're gonna have timestamps and stuff added to certain key elements of the thing, but you can see us and play your own clip along with episode along with it,
Yeah.
and you get our reaction with it, and you can see how when it opened with Hera, I was a bit.
Every time it cuts to Hera, you are
Yeah.
just...
Well, because I think it just takes away from the main purpose of why we're watching. Like, I know there's no Rangers of a New Republic show now, and I know that they're trying to weave it into these kind of properties, but I think it kind of ruins the flow, and we already know the outcome of the New Republic, so it's kind of like, we don't know anything about this side of it, but we already know kind of the outcome of the New Republic, so I don't really want to see that, especially when we had a whole show about like politics and stuff with Andor and stuff, which was done amazingly. So I just kind of don't really need it to be in this kind of type of shows, like even from Mandalorian, for example.
Do you
So,
think
yeah.
the New Republic's been in this show too much?
I wouldn't say too much, because I think the next 3 episodes probably won't have much of the New Republic. So, but the way from 1 to 5 on where we are now, maybe they're like at least half.
Okay.
I reckon.
I honestly feel like, and there has been a decent amount about the New Republic, but I feel like throughout the 5 episodes that it hasn't really made up a significant portion.
I think it just, every time they show up, it feels like they're slowing the pace of whatever's happening before, which makes it a bit annoying.
It feels like a bit of a drag when they come on, but again, I don't think it takes up a whole lot of time,
screen
really.
time.
I feel like almost it would have been good if they had a compelling subplot line going on with the New Republic.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, they're just existing there. There was sort
Being
of a
annoying.
bit of interest when the Senate committee all
Yeah.
got together and
Yeah.
you could kind of see
The tension.
Hera, the tension between them. That was kind of interesting, but that wasn't meant to be like a whole season subplot. But they haven't really introduced anything
I'll-
that's compelling.
I was just about to say that, actually, that if they focus on, especially that senator who Hera kind of grilled, like, we were in the war, I think if they had more of a development between, for example, him and Hera, or even the Chancellor, Mon Mothma, I feel like that would have make the New Republic scenes less of a drag and more kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But as long as it still doesn't take up too much time with the show,
It's
more.
fun.
It should be more of a minor subplot.
Yeah, it's funny because my favorite moment from the New Republic side of it actually is not in the show. It is actually in Mandalorian when Carson Tava basically says to them, like, there's something growing and you guys are, not aware of this, and you guys, it's going to happen before an instant. Like, that's the most foreshadow ever. And I think something like that just, like, I do like it when they show the flaws of the New Republic, but what the New Republic are doing in this show is almost, they're just being the fun police. They're just trying to stop all the good bits from happening, and it's not making you side with them. Maybe it's deliberate. Maybe every time they show up, you're not, as the audience members, you're meant to be like, oh no, they're kind of like trying to stop our protagonist from doing what the protagonist is meant to do.
Yep.
So maybe it's intentional. If you think of it like that, then it's doing a good job, but I think we need to progress onwards now from them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Just before we get into the good stuff, what do you guys think of Jason Syndulla?
In what respect? Like,
Just
story-wise?
in this
Generally.
episode, like compared to what we've gotten.
I think it was. I mean, I wasn't super moved by him in the show. It's kind of more like, for me, he was just there, and kind of as a way to move the plot forward.
Yeah.
But I did kind of enjoy the bits where they kind of mentioned Kanan as his father
was
and all
cool.
that. As a Rebels fan, obviously, but yeah, I don't think that it really stuck to me that much.
It is hard because it's almost like they're leading to making Jason a staple character for something in the future. Because you can't just introduce him as, like, he's got force abilities like his father, and he just kind of, like, I don't know if they're going to lead to Wars the way that he was going to also be another Luke
Well,
from the academy, which won't go well, or he was like maybe like he turned evil. I don't know, all this usual generic stuff for Star Wars. But in this episode, I think he wasn't as just filler. Like he wasn't just there, like standing around, just being there because we've all seen him in the end of Rebels. So I think that he actually was given purpose, which was good. I just think, however, it kind of felt weird in the way it was implemented. Like he could hear the lightsabers from
the
the
world
water.
between
Yeah,
worlds.
that is
And,
weird.
that's not usually,
How
and
it
if
works.
so, that means he's like obviously really powerful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's just another thing. I'm like, I don't know how that works. Maybe if they just stick to him having a sense or a feeling that they're down there, that would have worked better. And then even Hera hearing the lightsaber clashing, like how does that? He doesn't.
No,
feel
I don't think she did.
Yeah, I don't think
Or
she
was that
heard
just
it either.
non-diegetic? It was
I
just
think it was
us hearing
Yeah, I
it
think it was just us hearing it.
from, and she just believed in Jason.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that's better. Yeah.
To be fair, and so I'll just say I did like Jason's inclusion. I thought it was a good character development. It wasn't massive, but it was enough to be like, oh yeah, this he's in this
doing
show,
something.
he's doing something. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like at this point, Jason's shown way more potential than Sabine in a Padawan.
It
So
feels
why the
makes her
hell is
character.
Ahsoka not seeking out Jason?
And
And
is
she's
that a
probably
good age
closer
for it?
with Hera as well. So like,
Actually, I was thinking that when she gave Jason a hug, I was like, why aren't they
Yeah.
trying to train him if he
Yeah.
does show Force abilities and persisting with Sabine when clearly she doesn't really want to and all blocked off from the Force?
Yeah.
Why can't they just make her the Mandalorian kind of warrior
Yeah.
and free spirit that she is instead of trying to force her to something that she's not when obviously Jason's willing to.
I
He's at a
agree,
good
yeah.
age for it. He's got the potential.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a
I
bit
mean,
weird.
obviously saying that to me that he didn't necessarily stick out, but obviously it's still better that he was in it than if he wasn't
than
in
if
it
he
at
wasn't.
all.
And
Like
ignoring
in-
him.
Yes.
Yeah, like the first episode, I think it was when I said, "Where is he?"
Yeah, yeah.
So at least he's here. So.
yeah.
That's it. And I guess it's good that they're. I feel like it would have been. What would have been more annoying? Not including him at all and completely, like, maybe just having him being
cameo.
mentioned or including him but not doing anything with him. What would have been more annoying?
Well,
I think not having him in, because at least having him in, even if he didn't do anything, I feel like it wouldn't make any sense if they just ignored him completely.
true.
When Hera is such a big part of the season.
True. However, the way it's going, Hera hasn't done much, meaning that you could have just easily said Hera's like, this is too dangerous of a mission for Jason, he can stay on the ship back in the fleet kind of thing. And then if you think about it, Mandalorian Season 3 had Grogu in the show, obviously. He got rushed into that just to be with the main protagonist. He didn't really influence the story, didn't really need to be there. He almost just felt like he was just tagging along at that point. So I'm saying, if you have Jason not doing much, and he's just tagging along, is that really worth it than just actually having a logical reason for him not being there?
Well, the thing is, Cooper's question was if he wasn't mentioned at all.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but if you said he's not strong enough, whatever, for the mission, they're still mentioning him.
I kind of approach that question as, they said like, he's just playing with Chopper on the ship or something. Like a mention, but not seeing him at all.
Oh,
I would
well,
have
that's
preferred
what I
that.
meant, yeah.
I would have preferred
Yeah.
that. That's what I'm trying to say.
I would be fine with that as
Yeah.
long as they mentioned him.
Instead of trying to force a, plot on him, even though he's not really needing,
I'm just thinking, and I know we're talking about Jason way too much, and we'll get to the
He
Anakin.
was a big part of the...
He was, but I'm just thinking in terms of Ahsoka and what her journey's been. She said, I can't remember what she said in Mando, she couldn't train Grogu.
Because of the connection and attachment to Mando.
Okay.
Do you reckon it's maybe the attachment to Hera?
Possibly.
And the family?
But
And Sabine
like-
has no family?
Well,
Savage.
Sabine has a connection to the rebel crew,
To basically
and
Ezra,
Ezra,
which is
yeah.
the downfall of what...
which is
given
what
that.
happened last
I
week.
don't know. It seems weird that she would just reject Grogu. Because if that
Yeah.
happened before the Ahsoka series. But
Oh, I
it
know
sounded like... So
know why.
did she not want to train Grogu because of her failure with Sabine?
No, I'm thinking it's more... They don't want to train Grogu because, one, he already has previous training. He's kind of old for his species,
good
maybe.
point.
And that, he's not at the level that she can manipulate kind of how he goes into the training. Like, he's already his own kind of identity. Meaning that she can't really change that. Like, as Anakin was already so old, he was kind of doomed for that process. And that's why the Jedi Council were a bit like... He's already, developed his... identity and personality, we can't really, so I think that's probably why maybe if you're going off that.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, we've waited long enough. Let's just get into it.
Yes.
So we kind of knew this was coming. We got a whole lot of Anakin Skywalker in this episode, and it was
That was good.
amazing. And if you do go watch our reaction, we go absolutely nuts.
I can only imagine what it was like in the theaters in
Oh,
America. In
man.
America, could you imagine the crowds?
Yeah.
You know what? There's going to be like video leaks of that, and
Of reactions.
it'll
yeah.
be like Endgame level,
Endgame,
I reckon.
yeah.
Oh my lord.
That all I'm gonna say to begin this segment off of the thing, I need to mention how we all went. You gotta go watch the reaction. How we all went crazy when Anakin was walking into the
Yeah,
into the
that
mist,
was
and
nuts.
he had his lightsaber just on the side.
Yeah.
The lighting had him as a silhouette. And then right at the end, we're like, "Oh, that was amazing!" And then it just elevated to him as Darth.
Yeah,
and we're like,
that was
"Oh."
awesome. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow! Just the cinematography of the whole
I think
dream
flashback.
This
Yeah.
whole episode was in the best filmed of the
Oh, yeah.
series so far.
You know why? Dave,
Yeah.
baby, Dave.
Dave.
Well, this was directed by Dave, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, so he did a great job.
Great job.
But, I mean, there's so much we can say. I thought, first of all, I want to say, I loved the way that young Ahsoka was portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
It felt a bit strange at first, having the older Ahsoka's
I think that was only
perspective.
for some of it.
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
I
towards
like that as
the
well.
bit when they cut. So like, I think there was two different. There was like almost two different stages of the flashback
Yeah.
before the Siege of Mandalore one, because
Mm.
when she first came in, it was her older
Yeah,
self.
her
But
present
then
self.
when she was looking at the clones and stuff, this was like her first battle.
Yeah.
And she was saying, "Oh, why are we doing this? Like,
Yeah.
why would older Ahsoka say
I
that?" That's
agree.
what I was trying to say during the thing. I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to show that like the older Ahsoka is still in the
And you
young
know what?
Ahsoka,
Right.
but we're seeing the actual young Ahsoka conversation.
I was just about to say that seeing young Ahsoka really gave me the Ahsoka vibes, even
yeah.
more than the rest of the show.
Mm.
But thinking about it, well, of course that's the case because that's
How
pretty
we
much
grew up with
the
her.
majority of what Dave wrote, a
It
young
is- yeah.
Ahsoka.
It is a bit of a shame that we didn't get, as you was hearing the reaction, how Cooper mentioned that it would have almost been a nice nod to have the voiceover work kind of done by Ashley.
Actually, yeah.
Oh,
Because
that would've
that's-
been good, yeah.
She's got the young
That's
voice.
what I was thinking.
And no fault to the actor. I thought she did really good though.
She did great.
Even with her voice almost similar in a way.
Mm.
But yeah, the chemistry that within just a mini flashback that Anakin and Ahsoka had just felt like we were watching a live action Clone Wars, which is
It
what
did.
I really
It
wanted.
did.
I thought I don't know her name. I'm gonna find out at the end of the episode. But I thought what she did really well. Not the voice was okay, but her mannerisms,
Yeah.
the way she like was touching the clone troopers' hands,
Mm.
And just kind of like yeah,
just the little things she did were spot on. So she did her homework, she did her research, and yeah.
Okay, well, since we're talking about the actor at this point, I'm going to just quickly mention
Yeah.
when she was fighting in the Siege of Mandalore bit, wow, her movement was a lot
yeah.
more fluid, like animated original Clone Wars, and I was like,
Yeah.
they did really good to portray that. However, I thought she would have been a bit older looking, because even in Clone Wars, she looked
Yeah,
older in the way.
She did.
Yeah.
She looked a bit. I mean, you
can't grow her in height a bit,
Yeah,
can you?
no. But I think maybe they could have cast another person
Or would that
to
be too
a
much
bit
of a-
older.
Or maybe is that too much of a, like,
Or you know
three
what?
different
It would have
mode?
made even more sense, even if they left her. But with your saying that they could have used Ashley Eckstein, I think it would have made more sense with the Siege of Mandalore Ahsoka because she's a bit
Ashley's
older.
got a young face.
I did like how they...
Oh,
yeah.
not to be the physical manifestation,
voice-
but just the
voiceover,
voice.
yeah, yeah.
I think it would have made
Connected
even
it
more
a bit
sense
easier.
with the Siege of Mandalore one because Ahsoka was a bit older in that one.
How cool was the Siege of Mandalore Mandalorian
Yeah, that
helmet?
was
cool.
Wow, they need to release that for us to buy because I want it.
Yeah, no, that was nuts.
I just loved, like when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna fight. She's doing what the horn helmets? No
Yeah.
way, they're actually doing this.
The
I was like-
mole.
and then even what? Okay,
He said Anakin came in and said,
I
I haven't seen this battle. That's
yeah.
great attention to
Can we
detail.
rewind a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to pose a question here for you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
So, we were trying to discuss it through the reaction, but it's too hard when you're trying to watch what's happening too. I want to hear your guys' theories because it's not really confirmed.
Oh yeah.
What type of what version of Anakin? What kind of Anakin did we see? Was it Anakin at all even?
I'm gonna say, it's
Yeah,
very
Alright, how
difficult
about
to tell.
I go first?
Yeah,
You
you
go
go
first.
first.
Because my opinion is that it is Anakin,
what
obviously after
version?
he's died,
Okay, so return.
but not a ghost because he's in the world between
Yeah.
worlds. But I think I don't know if this is the right word, but even maybe accepted his Darth Vader past
Maybe
because
yeah.
he's kind of using it in a way
To
to
teach.
Ahsoka not to
Not
do
to-
what he did.
I agree.
Even though he said so much, "You are me," I think that might even, your training is my training. I think he's trying to tell her by saying that that she should be more than just Anakin's training, even though she was saying that.
Because if it would, then it probably lead to how he ended up.
Yeah.
But I think I before Cooper goes on to it, that was my overarching kind of belief of it. But it also did feel kind of weird how the first thing that he did was interact with her by fighting
aggression.
her. You know,
that was weird though.
Why wasn't there like a Ahsoka? You know, like
I'm so sorry.
It's been so long. I wish I could explain to you everything that's happened and how I feel, but I need to teach you
time
this
for
kind
your
of
final
lesson.
lesson
You
or
know,
something.
you need your lesson. But almost ignoring that felt more of a disservice to how we all imagined an interaction with the Force Ghost, Anakin, and present Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Like they really didn't mention it, which makes you think, is it? Like that's our theory,
which
but
is where I think Cooper's might come in.
Yeah.
So, I got a couple things about what happened. I just feel that a Force Ghost, because how does she even get there? Because if it's a near-death experience, then how come like half of the other Jedi didn't go to the world between
Can I
worlds?
quickly?
I think it had something to do with the water. I don't know why.
I
It was
don't know.
near that
I don't think so.
altar thing where they did the map. So maybe that area has some kind of magical or force related powers.
Mine's linking to actually what we've already seen in Rebels. So we all know that Ezra took Ahsoka into the world between worlds before she dies. Is this now because he did that? Is this a thing where if she is about to die in not the way she's meant to have her fate, that she gets drawn into that world between worlds?
Could be that, yeah.
Because of her
since she's been
interaction
there,
with it. Yeah.
since she's already been there, she can go in again.
Because I think she has a deeper level of connection to the world between worlds than we actually think of Ezra opening that gate.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Ezra had to do all that ritual sort of thing to open the gate.
I think hers more spiritual connected to it. So,
I think since she, like you said, since she was just kind of pulled in, she has this sort of connection where, like you said,
it's telling her something.
She can just or maybe even the world between worlds itself transports her in there.
Yeah, it's like a thing. But yeah, anyway, continue.
So, beyond that, it's so difficult to tell because I just don't think a Force Ghost would do that. I would like to maybe think it's like the actual Anakin, but like then that wouldn't work.
Make sense for the time period.
Oh, I don't know.
Or is it like everyone's theories? Like he's the embody, like it's some other presence embodying the person closest to Ahsoka.
No.
Meaning like is it the sun or something, or is it one of the Mortars? Because it's all about the Mortars arc. Because obviously Ahsoka was healed by the daughter and stuff. So is it like?
I don't think so.
Or is it a memory?
Well, I don't think it's a memory. I don't think it's the Mortis gods. I think it could be another sort of physical entity that we don't know about. That
he did. There was a. I can't wait to rewatch this episode because I think there was a line where he goes, "We are more than that," or "I am more than that."
Yeah.
Is he like transcended into some other kind of being now? Not like just a Force Ghost.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Have something to do with the prophecy. Maybe.
Yeah, he might be the overarching kind of like here's a crossover event right now, kind of like a in Loki with what's it called, Kang, kind of looking over all the timelines. Yeah. Is he looking over everyone's kind of fate? And
I think that would probably be more likely than it being a Force Ghost. Because I know Luke in Rise of Skywalker. Yes, we're talking about Rise of Skywalker. He grabbed the lightsaber, but he didn't use it.
Yoda also.
No, he didn't.
Created Force lightning on the thing.
He did, but I just don't know if a Force Ghost, the powers we've seen from the Force Ghost, I don't know if Anakin, I know he's like the most powerful, but I don't know if he would have that
It's in the world between worlds, though. It's not in the living or the dead.
I know,
We've never seen a Force Ghost even in... You know what I mean? So that's why we don't know. We've only seen Force Ghosts in the living.
We've never seen an afterlife.
And that's why it's kind of like they may be restricted in the living, but they can do more in this kind of breach death period kind of thing,
I also thought in this episode he looked a lot less desaturated.
Yeah, for sure.
Beyond the flashbacks, he
looked good.
He looked good. And one of my favourite moments of the episode was when Ahsoka says, "I choose to live." And then his eyes go from the Sith yellow and then transition to the pure blue.
Yeah.
It was Anakin's lesson.
It's almost like, it's almost like when they were fighting, remembering that properly, right?
I should have got the actual one.
Yeah, we could borrow Ahsoka's ones. Anyway, when Ahsoka grabbed the lightsaber, I think that was almost more of a not like she beat him or something. It was more of a he needed her to kind of see it and to grab the lightsaber, knowing that like you have to fight or you will die in this kind of.
You're a soldier.
Yeah, like you. I get that you don't want to be a soldier. That was the flashback with the her seeing like the death and stuff, but you have to kind of be a bit of both. You can't just completely isolate yourself off one of them and not be a Jedi. You have to use what you have.
Yep.
And that's kind of what's showing that maybe Balin and Ahsoka might have a rematch or something in the future. Ahsoka takes him out or something because it's what she has to do, not what she wants to do.
Have you got anything you want to add, Cooper?
I thought it was interesting we didn't get any mention of Balin from Anakin. Like, Ahsoka did say the name to him, but he didn't really listen. But clearly they've had some sort of history together, maybe.
Or, well, Balin did just say everyone knew him in the Order.
Yeah, but
that
few
maybe
lived to see who.
Maybe Anakin just didn't know who Balin was, but it was one of those things where he was so famous that he didn't know
Or maybe
everyone that knew him.
Maybe he just figured it out.
Maybe, yeah. Could have.
I was gonna posit a question to you two.
Yep.
Gosh,
Do you think that Ahsoka will change her lightsaber colors back to blue
Good question.
instead of white?
Accepting
That's a good question.
I think she's kind of gone back to being a Jedi now. I mean, she changes her robes from dark to light.
which is a lot more of a Jedi-esque.
Yep.
I'll answer first. I reckon... Oh, here we go. Counter proposal. Will she wield one of each? She has a small one as a blue one or something, and then has a white showing that she's kind of both. But that could be too hard to do visually. Maybe it's just they don't want to do it. But she's changed robes. Maybe now the white blades mix more better to her new costume and who she is, as a bit more pure. When the white blades maybe wasn't doing it kind of justice to representing her as a character, but it is now. Maybe she's filled into those kind of shoes, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Like you could say.
I was going to say, I don't know how she'll change it, but thinking about Hu Yang is
Hu Yang
known for making and changing lightsabers. There might be kyber
crystals
on the ship.
Mini Death Star. No, I'm joking. I'm going to say no, because I think the white is who she's become.
Yeah, like
and
shoes, yeah.
I feel like to change back almost
She's
is a reverse of how she's developed as a person. Like, I think, she learned a lot from Anakin and took a lot of experiences away from the Clone Wars, but I think most of her finding herself was during that period where she was a Grey Jedi and wasn't really
good or bad
involved in the Jedi Order. So I think, no, it takes away from her. But I will just say quickly, that was the first time we've seen white lightsaber on blue lightsaber action. I loved it. It looked awesome.
The whole fight was amazing.
That
was very Revenge of the Sith, like with Anakin especially, and flipping the lightsaber behind him and all that.
I would like to mention, I think the reason why this episode was so strong for me, not only because of the Anakin bit, but Ahsoka's character development.
Yeah, she had
I think she finally is now the Ahsoka I envision in my head.
Yeah.
Not the... I like the old wise, but she was hesitant. She wasn't sure of herself, her actions, whether to train Sabine or not. Now she, I think, is back to her kind of cheerful, optimistic, hopeful, but also not naive like the Jedi were. I think she's almost like you was trying to Lord of the Rings reference. Like she's, the new Gandalf. Like what's it?
I was saying she's gone from Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. That's what you said.
That's what I was saying.
So, anyway.
Okay.
But I just thought it was visual representation good. You could instantly see the emotional change of her, actual acting. I think it was unreal.
I've kind of thought in the back of my mind throughout the season that she seems different to what I know as Ahsoka, because she seems very blank expression, kind of like
very,
monotone,
like not wanting to reveal any of her intentions. Very
reserved sort of thing. But by the end of the episode, once she'd got her white robes and gone, woken up, her face was smiling. I think the rest of the episode,
she was just like,
she had all this hope. She knows what she's gonna do. She's gonna go and she's gonna do it.
When before she was like, I don't want to, go there. Like, I don't know if it's a good idea. Like, I understand, like, her character in that way. Like, maybe people were not understanding her progression. They all thought maybe she already had her finished completion of character development. When now we actually realise she was only, a step towards the final.
And I reckon, when I think about it, Dave or some others of the writers and directors, they may have given her the specific instruction throughout the season, kind of
little as motion as possible.
Yeah, because she looked so different just from having a smile on her face.
Yeah, yeah. You instantly thought back of the older Ahsoka.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also did see that more tame version when she left the Order. She wasn't really ever happy after that,
That was
she?
the beginning of that.
She was very
period.
I was gonna say, has Ahsoka ever been happy in her life?
Yeah, in Clone Wars, she
Yeah.
smiled so many times, and a lot of arcs, she was always, you
When
know,
she showed her humanity.
alright. Just because I think
very-
about
yeah.
her life, she was literally bred to be a
Well,
a
all
Jedi
Je-
soldier,
all
and
Jedi
then-
are the same.
all
really.
Jedi, yeah.
I know, but just everything she's seen throughout her life. Even we got
But she
it in the
also
flashback.
hasn't had the worst life compared to
No,
others.
no,
You know what I mean?
but
I,
like,
you know
definitely
what?
not.
I think contributed
Everyone's-
to it. I
Yeah.
think a lot of her, if you want to call it depression, was from finding out about what happened to Anakin.
Yeah, yeah.
But now that she's kind of seen that he's still
Became
got
good
good,
again.
he's still got
Yeah.
good in him, and he's still able to impart his wisdom on her. I think that's changed her a lot.
Yeah.
Now my question is to you guys:
Yeah.
that scene where Ahsoka speaks to Luke and says, "So much like your father," is this set before or after that? Because if it's set before, that line
I think
is...
I think it was before, but leading
Yeah.
towards the clone, like, you know what I mean? I think the Mando we saw was before.
Yeah.
So I think that was
okay.
linking to, generally speaking, the way Luke was like, "Oh, it's so hard," you know, kind of thing, and Anakin would get frustrated a bit like that with the council and stuff. So I think she was like, "Oh, so much like your father."
I was gonna say it would have added like a lot
It
more
would have added
depth,
more depth to that.
if it was set before
That is true.
or after or whatever.
And
I'm not sure. Yeah.
are we all done with this topic? Because
Yeah.
I got,
Yeah.
I
Go
gotta
for it.
just want to give a quick mention to the amazing Captain Rex who got a cameo.
Yeah,
How
Captain
awesome was that?
Rex.
Live action Captain Rex.
I was gonna
Awesome.
say he actually looked better. I was gonna be a bit nitpicky here and say some of the clones looked a bit
Yeah, if you...
fanficky. You know,
Did they?
yeah,
Yeah.
fan fiction at the start when they first ran in. I was like,
How?
Just their helmets were a bit... And
helmets
they
were a
had
bit
very...
off, bigger
bulk-
than
yeah, bigger shoulders.
bigger than like obviously the person wearing the costume
I think-
didn't fit as well as
I think it's
You know?
because, like in
It's
Obi-Wan
live action.
Kenobi, it's live action and not CGI. That's
I know,
probably all it was.
but
I'm
then
assuming it was.
But then we
live
saw
action.
Rex.
Yeah.
And that looked a lot more resemblance. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe they did just hire people who had, you know, the
Yeah.
armor and just got
Yeah.
like a cameo kind of thing because Rex looked very. They like made sure they detailed
And
him well.
awesome that Tamura got to do some voices,
think it was
voice
him.
lines. I'm sure it was him.
I didn't see it in the credits.
It
though.
sounded like him.
Yeah, he didn't...
I
It
know.
would have been in additional voices,
Yeah,
but
I
we
don't-
don't, we don't sit through that.
Look,
Yeah.
it sounded like him, but we hope it is him because he deserves it.
Yeah.
And I did want to mention Anakin wearing the what's it called, the Clone Wars armor looked very good.
Oh my god.
But it did also have a bit of the bigger shoulder pads
It
than.
did.
But I'm going to excuse it because of how cool and how grateful and lucky we are to have that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want to nitpick it, but I did think it looked a bit bigger than.
It did, but it's kind of reminded me of the Battlefront 2 armor that he wears,
It did.
the skin,
Yeah.
but where it's a bit longer in the
How
shoulders.
good was the short hair?
Yeah, it was
he
great.
suited
Yeah.
that
It was
so
great.
well.
That was
wow.
great.
Like the in between stage between
Yeah.
like when we saw him with the Padawan brain and Clone Attack of the Clones and then before Revenge. Perfect.
Yeah, he had his Clone Wars hairstyle.
Yeah, it's perfect.
From the show.
Perfect.
I think on behalf of like all the Star Wars fans, we are just so very lucky to be able to see Anakin. If this is his last appearance,
Yeah.
this is a hell of a way to go out.
As a Star Wars fan that loved the prequels and Anakin and Revenge of the Sith, this is like I can't ask for something more than this. Like
It's
if
perfect.
the rest of, let's just say in the future Star Wars ends up being a downfall, like it
like Marvel.
It's on its way.
It's on its way down or whatever. I commend for what the show has done for Anakin and the
Yes.
legacy of him because I did really feel like the main gripe with the sequels was Anakin's legacy. We didn't get much of him.
Destruction of legacies.
Yeah, but like even if you enjoy the sequels, this is not a sequel hate thing.
Yeah, no.
It's more just I really needed to get that final after
Closure.
of Anakin, and even if this is not a Force ghost or it's just a memory or some weird thing, the way just seeing him back and the way he was presented was amazing.
I think I just made a parallel connection. Anakin said, he said it's time to finish your training. Did he say like one last lesson? Did he say
I
something on those
don't
lines?
think he did.
Anyway, that's
One
kind
more
of
lesson,
implied.
or
But
maybe it was one
very,
last.
very
Yeah.
similar to Ezra and Kanan's connection.
Very much, yeah.
Kanan was dead, but Ezra knew he had one last lesson
Yeah.
to do.
Mm.
So I like that.
It
parallel.
also
It's
reminded
nice.
us. I mean, I don't know us. I said us, but myself of the kind of when we got in Tales of the Jedi, Anakin training Ahsoka and that kind of when he was kept getting her to get back up.
Yeah.
Like you need to
Very
learn this
much.
kind of thing because it's about war and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. So
You're a soldier.
all I can say is that I really can't wait to rewatch this episode
Yeah,
again.
same.
And,
I am just glad. I am beyond glad that this show has not let us down so far. Because I think it was after episode 3, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
we're
four.
feeling it.
We're feeling it's can either go really good, which
These
it did,
last 2 have been
or it
insane.
could go downhill and be like Kenobi and be like Mando season 3.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it can go downhill from here. I think now that we're
They know
getting to the
they're-
actual story,
Yeah.
it's
I think
not
Filoni. I think we have seen enough now to know that Filoni has an end goal for at least
Yeah.
a season,
Yes,
or even maybe
he knows
multiple.
what he's doing.
You know what I mean? Like, wow. Like, yeah, this show. I love Andor. Andor's probably the best Star Wars piece we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the most Star Wars-esque
Yeah.
vibes I'm getting, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
loving
agree.
It. It's
I
like
think-
one big Clone Wars Rebels arc.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so far as a show, I still prefer Andor, but
Yeah,
in terms
as a
like
show, yeah.
this obviously, I mean, you have to say this episode was basically, like you said, live action Clone Wars,
Yes.
and it just feels the most Star Wars, like you said.
Andor fit the structure
Andor
of a
was,
TV show.
it was more.
It's
yeah,
a lot. It's a spy
There's
espionage.
a lot of world building.
It's
as well.
it's a
A lot
lot
of world
easier to do that, I think, in Star Wars too, and it's a lot harder to perfect character developments of already established ones,
Yes.
and
Yep.
to make stuff look good represented from animation. It's hard, and they've done a fantastic job of doing this.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing I'd like to mention, because this was very important to the episode. I thought, and I know I say this every week, but as a massive Rebels fan, I thought the Purgles were done absolutely perfectly. Just
was.
the way Ahsoka was interacting with them and the way they move, and even it was almost like when you like the Jedi team creatures and show that it's like a How to Train Your Dragon situation.
Yeah.
Just it was
like
really cool to
in
see.
Attack of the Clones in Geonosis.
Even
Yeah,
Geonosis,
yeah. I just thought, and even the Kevin Kiner again with the music. Every time the Purgle come on screen, there's like that little very euphemistic
It said
chime.
the caption was melodic.
Melodic, yeah.
Melodic
the closed
music.
Yeah,
captions.
I thought the space whales are really good in this, and I'm glad. It's almost interesting to see what
How
the beginning
overpowered
of.
they are.
Well, I was gonna say what the beginning of the hyperspace journey was like from their from inside their perspective.
Yeah.
That's a really weird thing to say,
It's weird, yeah.
but yeah, that's all I want to say about the whales. I think they've done really well.
I want to add a note to that, because in my reaction, I was clearly a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see the new galaxy and even hint of Thrawn. But it doesn't. I don't want it to diminish how much I liked the way they shot that scene with the Purgles. It's just when you're looking at it as a whole season standpoint, I felt like the progression has been very slow, and that's why I was disappointed, because we didn't even. I was expecting by the end of this, I didn't expect to actually see that much Thrawn. I was optimistic, but I was hoping at least. I was fairly certain we would at least get a soundbite, a back shot of him, a transition, something that left you teased that we're getting him for sure next week. Like even still, we don't even know for sure if we are. We're going to a new galaxy. They could get teleported to some other bit of that new galaxy, and we might not even get Thrawn. I know, like, it's almost impossible now to not get Thrawn.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. It's still not even confirmed that we're not, going to get. We're going to get him.
I'm almost certain we're gonna see Thrawn next episode. But if not, then they're
throwing
just
hands.
shooting themselves in the foot.
They really are, because they're going to do him a bit more. Of a
I don't think
disservice
Dave. I don't think Dave would be that silly.
No, I think he has.
I mean,
no
he's
idea.
kept him out for 5 episodes already.
But if we're going to the new galaxy,
But now
and
everyone's
they
almost
don't
got
show
their
him.
established developments.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Sabine's over there, needs help. We've established a bit Jason, the New Republic-esque vibe of it. I think everything's already established now. There's not more to do aside from what we're going to see next.
Yes.
Which I think is really, really good.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what actually happens next, because it's like, will they find them straight away, and then what's kind of the deal? Are they bringing back a fleet with them? Are they bringing back just the characters?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, I'm assuming they're gonna have to come back on the Jedi Starship because.
Yeah.
Well,
Or they hop on Thrawn's fleet being captured or something.
Well,
on the
Oh
Chimera.
yeah, because his fleet would.
the
still be there.
the trailer shots do show Thrawn on the
On the
Eye of
ring.
Sion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do.
Maybe they just go back with that,
No.
maybe. I reckon the Chimera is going to come back. His ship. Has to be. Yeah, has
it
to
was
be.
all tattered and destroyed.
When
though.
you say
Everybody's-
come back, you mean just in the show or come back to the
Both.
normal
I
galaxy?
think because the way they were trying to emphasize that he's going to bring the war to them, like he's going to bring whatever he's been building in this galaxy. Maybe he's even been doing some Sidious level exegol kind of like building of whatever kind of species,
Don't know
whatever
how
kind
he
of
would do it,
inventory. He's pretty convincing. Promises them like a
And he's had
chance.
time.
Yeah,
I
promising
guess
them a
so,
chance to take over a new galaxy and be the rulers of that galaxy or something. You know what I mean?
I guess so, but he'd just be spending the whole time building up a fleet.
It's only
Like,
10 years is a lot still though. Like, what is he meant to be doing in that time period? That's what we want to know. You know what I mean? There's a lot of unsolved kind of things with him. So,
Yep.
very excited. Very
do you
excited.
think? Here's a question: when we see him, do you think he'll still be in his Grand Admiral
Yeah.
uniform?
Yeah, we see him in the
Yeah.
trailer with it.
Yeah,
the
but
white
that's
too.
what I was thinking because he's on the ship and he's been gone for so long that it might be in tatters.
No,
they might
well,
have a new one on the
He
ship.
likes to keep himself in.
Well, I don't know
pristine
how he
condition.
would though.
So
They got shops there.
my theory
don't know.
might be, and I'm assuming I'm gonna put some money on this bet. I might have shot myself in the foot with this.
Uh-oh.
All right, I need everyone to listen up. I'm going to place a bet that next week's episode starts with a ship exiting hyperspace with the whales, but it's not the
Ones we
ring.
think, yeah.
It's not AHSOKA. It's Thrawn and Ezra's ships, and they get left, and then they start to plummet towards the.
So you think it'll be more of a flashbacks kind of beginning?
Yeah.
Continuing from
Yeah.
Rebels.
Yeah, I think
Could start as
that would be a cool way to
Look,
go. Because
I
where else are
agree.
they going to
That would be
introduce
cool,
it? This
but
was
if
this
you're
is
gonna
the
make a bet
perfect
on it-
chance. No, but like seriously, you got to think. They can't show the ships coming in, and they can, but they can't show it coming in and then show another ship. They can't do the flashback after establishing the other ships coming in my opinion. So like,
well, it's interesting. Now you think of it, we've seen the Rebels and Ezra and Thrawn go in with the whales.
Yeah.
We've seen Ahsoka now going with the whales, and we've seen the ISRM going in that.
yeah,
We've all seen everyone enter that new place.
but no one's
We've never
come out
seen
of it.
everyone
That's
come
it.
out or
Yeah.
what
That's
happened
my
at the end
point.
of that. Yeah,
So
yeah.
here's the perfect opportunity to do a flashback to show what happened to them.
and kind of trick the audiences.
Yeah.
I agree. I would like that. I would, surprise them, Cooper. I'm agreeing with you. On this.
$10.
To some lucky viewer. No.
No, personally, I don't think. I think it might start with someone entering the
It has
galaxy,
to be a
but
ship, surely.
I don't think it'll be Thrawn and Ezra.
It'd be interesting.
Okay.
I hope. To
I
see
think that's a
something
very ballsy bet
Yeah,
to make.
my bet's gonna be he's gonna be Hera again.
Probably. It'll probably be Hera.
Well,
Well, are we all done?
Yeah.
We've mentioned everything. we
I
want to.
think
Yep.
so.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Just a reminder to check out our social media, Instagram and TikTok. We'll post there pretty much every week. We'll keep up YouTube polls. Go support us on Patreon. Thanks to Ben and Nikita, as always. And yeah, I guess episode 6 is going to be a big one. We're finally getting to the new galaxy. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But go check out the live stream. Go
Yeah.
check out our reaction. Comment your reaction and give us a like.
Yeah.
As always, it'd be
As
greatly
always.
appreciated.
Or
All right.
even leave a comment if you like.
And
Yeah,
leave,
let us
leave
know
a
what
comment.
let us know
We'll
what you
respond.
thought.
We'll
Let us
respond.
know what you thought of the episode.
Definitely.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Catch you
you.
See you
later.
next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.